Hey, so this, now that I'm back, is a video about Singapore. I meant to do these day by day, but it ended up not happening. Sorry. So I arrived on Tuesday morning. I had chatted with someone from so on Couchsurfing, you can stay with people, but you can also just post a trip and say, hey, I'm going to be in this town on these dates. Does anyone want to meet up? And you can also look for people who say they want to meet up and so on. So a girl had messaged me. She was going to be in Singapore on the dates that we were going to meet up. So on Tuesday, I went from the airport straight to Chinatown and met up with her and another girl, Cynthia and Vesna. And that was nice. We wandered around Chinatown a bit, and then we went to the botanical gardens, which were really lovely. That was first go at the botanical gardens, and they had this really massive lizard thing, which isn't technically botany, but you know, it was alive. And then I went back to get the key from Wenchen before she went to take Ada to swimming lessons, before she went to take Joy to swimming lessons. And then, that's what I did. I'd been trying to remember. I remember it now. Joanna had set me up with cousin Joanna had set me up with two friends of hers from, I think one's from somewhere in America and the other's from Belgium, I guess. And although both the two of them met in London. And so I had dinner with the two of them at a nice place. It's like a cool tapas place. We got, 9 or 10 different dishes, the three of us and another girl, and just tried a whole bunch of things. It was nice. That was Tuesday. Wednesday, I started off in Little India, which was very nice. I went to the amazing food. I went to the Indian Cultural Heritage Center, and I went to a Hindu temple, which was fascinating. It was like a tourist. I mean, there were Indians there praying, and also there were tourists there, and it seemed to be a normal thing. There's some very cool pictures. And then I went, trying to remember bit by bit each day. I think then I went to a place called the Peranakan Museum. So Singapore is geographically placed such that a long time ago, traders came from China and from India, like from both ends. So those traders came and then had sex with local women and presumably married them. So there were a lot of local babies who were half local, half not. Half Singaporean, Malay, Indonesian, etc., and half Chinese or half Indian. So, and it's not, the first generation, they're biracial, but the second and third and fourth generations of these mixed kids marrying each other and having kids who are more mixed, because they have that plurality of heritages, the local word for that is Peranakan. So I went to the Peranakan Museum, which was very cool. It talked about how they infuse bits of both culture in their lives. And I had a really lovely tour guide, docent from Suriname. She was very friendly and very knowledgeable. And then she gave me a ride to not the Asian Civilizations Museum, that was later. We went to maybe the Singapore History Museum. I wrote it down. It was like an abridged history of all of Singapore. For example, I had no idea the Japanese occupied until they had a whole room about that. And it was a lot about like, a lot of it was their culture under the British. They seem super chill about having been colonized by the British. They're just like, yeah, we were, it was great. And that's not just the multitude of expats who are there, it's also like the ethnic locals who are like, no, yeah, this was good thing. Very interesting. So they were showing a lot of like, you know, late 1800s, early 1900s styles until the Japanese came. But like with an Asian twist, which was very cool. Where did I go after that? Oh, then I went back to, I feel like I did one other thing, but then I went back to the house and had dinner with Mark and Wenshin and Ada and Joy. Wenshin is Ada. Everybody has two names. Joy was telling me her Chinese name and seemed quite perturbed that I don't know my Chinese name, nor could I read the Chinese on the paper she had. She was like, but everybody knows Chinese. And I was like, not me. She's like, but I'm 4.5 and I know Chinese, and you're a grown-up. And I was like, kiddo, I got bad news. Age does not define intelligence or ability. So Thursday started the conference a bit. Thursday morning, we went on a tour of Jewish Singapore, and I posted about that. And then in the middle, I don't know anymore what I did in the middle. It definitely involved at least one museum, possibly 2 or 3. Oh, I do know what I did in the middle. That's the day I went to the Asian Civilizations Museum and to a craft store, which was nice. And the Asian Civilizations Museum was interesting, but the layout was very disorganized and confusing in that there was a narrative in each room, kind of, but it didn't connect in any overarching way to like a narrative across the museum, so, or to the rooms on either side of it. And they should have blocked off doors strategically so that you were led in a linear path throughout the museum, but they didn't. So you just sort of wandered haphazardly until you gave up on that floor and moved to the next one. Whatever. That evening was the opening ceremony. I met Rabbi Thal, who seems very kind. His wife seems lovely. He was gonna hook me up with someone. I knew who it was at the time, and I emailed him about it, but I don't know right at this moment. And I also briefly met Frank Lavin. They both spoke at the opening ceremony. The opening ceremony was incredibly dull, but, you know, it happened. And incidentally, Rabbi Thal and Frank Lavin both send their regards to you, Safta. I'm sorry, not to you, Galia. And presumably to Saba as well, I'm assuming. Probably, you know. And then afterwards, myself and 2 others who I had met on the tour headed over to Gardens by the Bay, which is like a fancy botanical gardens. But the thing to see there really, like gardens themselves are open till 2 a.m., but the thing to see there is these enclosed greenhouses, except they're cooler than, because it's already hot there, they're like cold houses. And they were only open till 9 p.m. and we got there a bit after 9. So there went that. We instead went to Marina Bay Sands and had a drink. That was nice. Friday was the conference all day with some really fascinating topics. And I got lots of ideas, and I will probably discuss those in a later video, but that's not the focus of this one. After that I went to the zoo. The zoo was no, Saturday was the zoo. I didn't go to the zoo. I've given up. I went somewhere else. There are photos. I had fun. Oh no, I did go to the zoo. It was really nice. I went to the zoo and I was late. I got there only an hour or so before closing, but I had bought my ticket at the airport, so it was either go or waste it. And there was like a butterfly house, right, where the butterflies come land on you. And through an extra curtain through that was another room with lemurs and bats and parrots and dik-diks, or deer mice, and ducks and crowned pigeons, which look like the largest chickens you've ever seen, etc., etc. And these cute little sparrows. It's a breed of sparrow that looks like someone saw a sparrow and wanted a penguin and painted it. It's very cute. So I was in there looking around, and it's like 6:01. I should be gone. And the keeper said to me, "Do you have a minute?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I'm about to feed the animals if you want to stay and take more pictures." I said, boy, howdy do I. So I did, and it was awesome. There's pictures. I either have uploaded video or will do so probably tonight. It was so nice. They're so brave. They like came out to chill. All the animals eat approximately the same food, so they're just like all hanging there. You talk about feeding time at the zoo being mass chaos, but it was very polite. Everybody just sort of sidling up and eating calmly. It was very nice. Then we had Shabbat services, which was just so wonderful. We were in this country club room because they're 25 years old as a congregation. They haven't got a space yet. And it just it was dinner and songs. It was just so wonderful. Saturday services in the morning at the home of one of the congregants, and it was a massive home. I mean, it was able to fit, 80 of us, and I'll post photos at some point. She cooked for all of us. And then Torah study in the botanical gardens. And then I went to Gardens by the Bay to meet a friend for dinner, except I really just had some fruit, because that evening was the massive gala to kick off their fundraising campaign for their building. They're trying to get a building. And then Sunday morning, so that was Saturday night, and then Sunday morning was a sort of separate conference where we came up with a lot more plans, which was nice. And then Anna and a new friend, Dan, and I went to Raffles, and we had a Singapore sling and a couple other things. And then Dan and I got Indian food, and then I went to the airport. So that is Singapore in 14 minutes. More posts and videos coming at some point, I'm sure. Bye.